welcome to this video. Today we're painting a super easy Christmas watercolor wreath, perfect for beginners, and there's no drawing skills needed for this. So just a quick pan over my materials that I'm using. So I'm using a watercolor cold press, and this one is called Fabriano Artistico. It's 100% cotton, so you can use any make, but best to use 100% cotton, which is essential really. Then I'm going to need a pencil and some brushes. The brush I'm going to use is a size 1, and this one is a round brush, and I'm also going to try and use this size 4 round brush. And then I probably will use a filbert, which is a size 6, but I may need a very small brush for certain details, which is a 000. So like I said, we are painting a wreath today, and what I'm going to use for that as well is I've got a plastic cap here, and I'm going to use that to make my round shape. I have got a tissue on the side for using to clean my brush. I have a clean water jug, and I have got a plate full of different colors here to help me choose the right ones. So I'm going to mix some blues and some green. The wreath is going to be a little bit of shades of blue and greens, and then we're going to put some little berries on it, and I'm going to add a little bit of gold as well. I'm going to create maybe some twigs and things in gold colour. These are Starry. So these are Starry colours and the Gansai Tambi. You can purchase this set in Amazon, which is where I got it from. I will put the information about these paints that I used in my link in my description below, and I also will pop down in the description all the materials I have used today. Okay, so we're going to start by tracing the wreath. So I'm going to go in the center, and I'm just going to apply, I'm going to draw a circle here, and it will help if I'm doing it on the paper, not on the wreath, on the plastic. So I don't want to make it too harsh. There we go. Now I'm going to go with the putty rubber just on top, just to take away the excess of that pencil, because I don't want that to be seen through my watercolors. So just want to make it quite fade. So I'm going to dab it with the rubber just to get rid of it. Just to get rid of the excess. That's pretty good. Okay. So now I am going to mix the colours. So I'm going to need to do little bits of green leaves. I'm going to use the small brush for this to start with, and I'm going to mix the green. So this one is a granulating green colour that I have. You can use any colour you wish. Sorry, there's a hair there. This one's a Schmincke, and is a green colour that I have in here. So it will show little bits of yellow on it as well when it granulates on the paper. So I'm going to apply this one first. I don't want it too intense. And what I'm going to do is just going to apply, so I'm going to put a tip on the tip of the brush, then I'm going to go down and drag along and then lift. Okay, so I'm not going to be too fussy with this. I'm just going to point, drop down, push it down and then lift. And you get a little point effect on this. So I'm going to leave spaces because I'm going to add more things to this. So you can make it go any other way you want. So start on the line, point, and don't go too far. And very slowly, just dry very slowly. So I'm going to press, point and lift. Don't worry, it's a little bit difficult when you're in a funny angle, so you can rotate the whole painting as you go along if it's easier for you, which is what I'm doing. So press down and up, tip, press down and up. I want more point on there. Tip, press down and up. Okay, that will do for now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix that green. That green will go really light on the paper. So I want to add a bit of blue, and I'm using phthalo blue for this. And it gives me almost like a turquoise colour. Okay. So this time I'm going to use my filbert brush. I'm picking it up on the plate, and I'm going to use the side of the brush, press down and up, and that didn't show at all. Hang on a second. Tip and brush. So I'm going to do is add one side of it and then one side of it again. And just make that shape like that. So use one side of the leaf and then the other side and round and tip. Now my filbert brush has frailed a lot. So it's probably time for me to get a new one, probably because I used it for erasing lifting paint, and I used it too harshly and it made the bristles all spread out, which is not really ideal. Right, might want a bit more paint on this, and I'm going to add more paint. So I want a bit more of that green. So ideally you should have a mixing brush, separate mixing brush for these things, and then one brush for the, well, whatever brushes you're using for the painting. So just have a type of brush, like an old brush, for mixing your paints on the palette, and then use your beautiful brushes for painting. Really, that is the ideal situation. Right, so I'm going to try and do this now. So I'm going to go, I'm not very happy with that because it is very big. Right, so let's try a different brush then, because it is not working very well. Let's try a number 4 brush. This is good in a way because it does show you what you can do with different brushes. So this one has lost a bit of the point. If you have a brush with a point, that is perfect. So on the point, and then, so that went quite well actually, that's quite good. That's better. So point, this is the size 4 brush I'm using. Oops, sorry about that. Just take your time doing this, there's no rush. And like I said, test different size brushes if you have them. I'm going to try and attempt those ones that I did earlier that didn't come out very well. Okay, what I'm going to try and make is with a green, so this is the sap green I'm using now. I'm going to create some pine branches. I'm going to make some pine branches. So I'm going to come in here and make a stem. Just make it as fine as I can, almost like touching the paper, don't need to be too precise. I'm going to go in the outside of this one. Pick up some more green. So I'm going on the line and then dragging it out a bit, and then make the pine needles, I suppose. This is always easier just to actually start from the back and go forward when you spread in the pine needles. Start from the back and go forward. That comes out better. Okay. We're going to build these up, build it up. It doesn't matter if it overlaps some of the leaves, that's fine. Okay, that one was too much up. I don't like that very much, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's looking better. We're carrying on with a circle around it. We're going to do some little cherry berries. So this time I'm going to go for the smaller brush. So I'm drawing the paint out on the palette, and I'm going to use my size triple zero for these little berries. So I only want a very watery, I only want a very watery mixture, and I'm going to create some little cherries, and I'm going to try and make them in a group of 3. And if I want to leave a little bit of shine, I can do. That wasn't very round. Okay. And don't worry about it if it's too light at the moment, because we will go over again to make it darker. And try and leave a little bit of white paper on them to make the shine reflection on there. Or if you have a white gel pen, you can use that as well. Very small little cherries. Not cherries, berries, I meant to say. Right, just finding the space to do them. This is ever so easy to do. You can do it for a card. You can actually do them for tags as well. You can do this effect for tags, for Christmas tags. And if you do like to make it bigger and then use the painting, edit it and make it into a smaller template, and then you can print it on various cards. You can do that too. I use GIMP as my software to edit my prints and edit anything like this. And what happens is you scan this in your computer, if you do have a scanner, and then you send it to the GIMP app. You obviously have to download the GIMP app first, or the GIMP software on your computer. Then you place this in the scanner and transfer it to the GIMP, and there you can edit it, and you'll find that there is different tabs that you can use to take away maybe the paper, or to make it brighter, to make it more colourful, and then you can create a template for cards, and you can print them, save it, export it to your files, and then you can print them on your cards or on other paper that you have, or you can send it to a company where they can create some cards for you, which is normally what I do because my printer is not ideal yet. I would like to update my printer at some point. So I used to make them, and I struggled because my printer was not happy with thicker card. So now I get them done elsewhere. If you'd like to know more details about that, pop it on the comments and I will try and help you with that as well. Okay, so we're coming to the end of our little berries. Like I said, these are very light at the moment, and I will add more later on. I think I'm not sure whether to add another one up there, another 3. I think we might do sneak another 3 there. Because that looked a bit empty. And okay, not too fast how they are at the moment. That's fine. Okay, I hope you can see that all right. And my camera's not going blurry. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the green again and go around and create a little bit more depth on those leaves and the other things that I have created there, the pine needles. So I'm going to go over and create a bit more of that leaf. So maybe I want that leaf down here on the bottom to create a shadow. So you don't have to do this, you can leave it as it was if you don't want to carry on. It's a good practice. So I'm creating a deeper line on the shadow on the lower part of the leaf, so create a shadow. Then I'm using the water and the brush to move it around a bit so I don't create a hard edge there. And I'm being very careful to go under the berries here. Now that one's got a bit of a hard line, so I'm just going to wet it to move it a little bit. And I want that one as well down here a little bit more prominent. So the colour I'm using is the one I originally used for this leaf. Has dried on my plate, so I have to activate it with a bit of water. That looks really good, that leaf. I'm going to try and see if I can do another one the same. So half of the leaf is going to be dark and the other half isn't. So I think that works better. Okay, right. Okay, I think I need to mix this mixture because it's got a little bit dry, so I'm going to use my filber brush and just move the paint a bit to activate it again because it has dried on my palette. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the size 1 brush now and I'm going to go over to do those the depth of these leaves on the side a bit. So half of the leaf, I'm creating a dark section. And it probably won't show much, but it will show a little bit that you have got a darker section. This leaf is quite big. And I want it underneath. There we go. That one is the best one so far. We will go over again later to make it a little bit more intense. So those berries are standing out more a little bit. Okay, I want a point there. It's that leaf, I'm not happy how that leaf came. Right, okay. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to try and do the green on the pine needles. So I'm going to use blue for this, I think, just because I want to make them more bluey on the base. So I'm going to add the sap green to my blue, because I don't want them turquoise, I want it darker. And you can see now the mixture, the difference. So I'm using the sap green, and that becomes a bit richer, a bit deeper green. And I'm going to use that. So what I did, I used the phthalo blue and the sap green for that. So I'm going to go on the base of the pine needle and making those thorns. And it doesn't matter, the needles, it doesn't matter if I'm changing them a little bit. That is fine. Okay, sorry about that. We must have missed a little bit of filming here because my camera stopped recording. So I just started doing the blues again, and I mixed a bit more blue colour, so deeper blue, on my palette to make this work a bit better. So if you missed that bit, that's what I'm doing now. So I'm going on this here, and I'm going to go on the bottom of the leaf and the top leaf, and then I'm going to lighten the tip. So I'm lifting the tip with a brush, pushing it down and lifting it. Okay. Right, so I'm going to go the same on this one. I want to create more of a point here. And then the point, I want it lighter. There we are. Now this one as well. Always wetting my brush and just smoothing it as well sometimes if I need to, just to create a softer edge there. Just want to reshape that one. I'm not happy how that is. And this one as well needs to be a bit more pointy. So I'm just dragging the paint, drying it and moving it, and then you can get that light end on the leaf. This one needs to be dark underneath the berries. Okay, I don't like the shape of that very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the pine needles over that one when I come to do that. And I'm just going to wet the center of this because I don't like the look of that. It looks a bit rough. And I'm going to make it darker, so I'm going to mix a bit more of my blue and add it on here. That's nice. I'm going to do the same on this one here. So I don't know why I made it darker on the top. I will do that, doesn't matter. And this one here. Little point. Blend it in. I have to constantly keep an eye on my camera that is not switched off accidentally again, so we don't lose any footage. Okay, so that is coming along nicely now. I'm quite pleased. I'm going to go over the pine needles now, so we're going to add the green. This is the sap green. And I want this sap green to be a bit blue because the pine needles normally are not sharp green, I don't think. So I'm going to make it much more intense. So you can see that mixture now. It's much more consistent paint. So it's creamy. It's like it's quite creamy texture. See if I can see that. Okay. So I'm going to go on the pine needles. And again, I'm going to go on the darker section and a bit of the stem. Don't be frightened, just play with it. And because this one is darker, you can go over what you've done, what you want to overlap. And you can do the whole thing if you want. You don't have to do just one side. That's what I'm doing as well in some parts of it. So I'm bringing that over the blue leaf. So try and keep that brush with a point as well. I'm overlapping everything, well, not everything, sorry, some of the bits I done, and some of them are underneath the leaves. So you can still see the leaf underneath. And the berries as well, if I'm going over them. Paint's done to dry now, so it's getting lighter. I'm going to put some pine needles here, and this one is my last one. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it goes inside a bit more, and tell you what, I'm going to add another one here. That one's going to look a little bit different because I never did the green on it, so I'm just going to add the green as well while I'm at it. That's it. That's lovely. So now we're going to go over the little berries, and I'm going to still use the size 1 brush, and I'm going to go over. Try to work your way around the circle and leave a little highlight on your berries. If you go clockwise, you won't be damaging all the lovely painting that you've done, because the paint is going to dry. Whatever you've done, it will dry by the time you get to the end. Okay, need to wet. So this one I'm using for the berries is the Windsor red colour, but you can use any red you have. And I want the consistency to be thick, almost just activating the dry paint and using it very thick mixture, because I don't particularly want to carry on doing the berries again. I think this is probably going to be the final the final layer, I meant to say. And I can make them a little bit bigger if I want to as well now. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of music for you, just for you to carry on watching this or painting with me. And I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, so now we're gonna try and do the gold. So I'm gonna do the little branches in gold, just little stems sticking out. So I think we're gonna use the red gold, which would be better because we have red in the painting already. So I need to activate this paint, and I'm going to use this size 1 brush. So I want it to be in a point, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do little wiggly well, just little branches, little twigs is what I'm thinking of. To make it a little bit more interesting. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can use, if you don't have gold paint, you can use burnt sienna or brown. And you can add a bit of yellow to that brown as well to make it a little bit more lighter. So I'm just wiggling it and try and get a point on it if I can. How am I going to do this? Let's come out here. I'm going to add another one there. And another one here. And that's it. Now you can have a message in the middle if you want to, or you can write a message, or you can draw a little bird sitting on here as well if you wish to. Now I can keep on adding more tone values to this if I want to as well, but just wanted to show you a very delicate way to do it, a very easy and quick bit of painting piece. So that is my little wreath, and it's not a fussy wreath, it's just a simple one that you can create yourself too. I can go over to create a bit more detail on those berries if I wish to. You can use pencils as well on this if you wanted to, colour pencils, just to add more texture to your pine needles or the berries. So there's many options that you can use for this, but obviously when you're doing that, just let it dry first before you apply that. So there you go. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you have done, thank you so much. And if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, which helps this video to be pushed out to new viewers. And when you subscribe, you will get notification when I upload my next video. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.